That's right, guys. We're installing a quick shifter on the R1. Now, we're doing this before we go to the race. It is a modification I highly recommend that you do on any bike that you're able to do this on. Now, we're just going with the Power Commander quick shifter because the bike already had a Power Commander on it. So that's what I'm going with because it was kind of my cheapest option. There are other kits that will go and actually shut down the ignition. They'll just piggyback the ignition coils, and then whenever you go to make that shift, it'll shut off the ignition. This one is just going to shut off the fuel injectors momentarily, but they all do the same thing. They make you shift quickly, and like I said, it is something I highly recommend. The first time I put a quick shifter on a bike, it was my ZX14, and I gotta have that quick shifter no matter what because it just makes the bike run completely differently. Doesn't give it any more power, but in terms of performance, not having to worry about squeezing the clutch in or letting off the throttle, it's a huge benefit. The drag strip on a racetrack, all that stuff, it just benefits you very greatly. So I'm going to show you what comes in the kit that I got, and then we're going to throw it on the bike and test it out. Here's the part number for the kit that I'm using. So you want to make sure when you get it for the Power Commander you have. They also make this for the Power Commander 5. And I don't know if they make it for the 6, but I know they make it for the 5, and I know they make it for the 3, but it has to be the 3 with the USB connectivity. So this is a dual contact sensor. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Comes with instructions. You know, we'll read into those there in a little bit. Now for the R1, there are additional pieces that I purchased, and that is the shift rod here. You know, one's going to connect to the foot ped to the foot shifter, and then the other is going to connect to the what do you call it? The rod that goes onto the shift shaft. So I don't know which one that is yet, but that's going to kind of determine where the sensor gets placed. So you have to buy these individually. There's the part number for them. And all this stuff can be found on DynoJet's website. So if you type in DynoJet and you type in the so this is the vendor's code there, and then this is the Parts Unlimited part number that I used. Yeah, so there it is right there. So there's 2 shift rods. Yeah, this stuff will populate on DynoJet's website. That's where I got the information for this. And this is what makes this Power Commander 3 USB compatible. It has this style connector. So this connector goes into the Power Commander, and then it gives you this connector here to hook up. And here is your dual contact switch. Now this switch works in both directions, whether you're pushing, I don't know which one does it, but whether you're pushing or pulling on the sensor determines, you know, which switch you're going to go with. I think it's this side here. I don't know how it moves, but maybe I'll plug this stuff in and see what happens here. But either way, so it looks like that thread's in there. And then this side is going to thread in over here, or I might have it backwards, I don't know yet. Let's set up something like this. I'll have to figure out which side is the side that moves so I can determine if it's a push or a pull style. So that's what you get in the box. Let's go install all this stuff onto the bike. Alright, so this is the linkage here that we're going to have to remove. And they want this shift sensor to attach directly to either the shift selector or the actual lever itself. So either the piece that attaches to the shift shaft or the shifter itself. Never, they don't want it to attach in the middle or anything like that. So I think I'm going to go with probably, we'll see. I think it's probably going to fit best here. So I'm probably going to stick that right there. Let's get the shift shaft off here, or shift rod off here, and we'll figure this out. All right, she is installed and looking good. Now those two rods, the reason they came in two pieces is the first part of that rod attaches to the back of the actual shift sensor itself. Now the shift sensor has a right-handed thread here and a right-handed thread on the back. It then goes to that little stubby part, and then that stubby part attaches to this longer rod back here. So it's a stubby rod with all thread on the back of it. That threads into this rod here, which actually threads onto the shifter itself. Now, this part back here, Heim joint if you want to call it that, this is a left-handed thread. So this rod here goes from a right-handed thread, which is what that all thread was, and it goes back to a left-handed thread. So pretty much you can only install this setup this way. You can't actually, I thought you could install it either way, but because that's left-handed thread back there and this is right-handed thread up here, you actually can't reverse this setup. Or let me rephrase that, it would be very difficult to do that. And a couple of things that DynoJet said to make sure you do, try and have this set up as close to like a 90-degree movement as possible, so that way this shift sensor doesn't bind in any direction, so it has a nice straight shot in there, either pushing or pulling, which this is a pull type setup. So when you go to shift up for the next gear, it's actually pulling on the sensor. Now, no worries, that is all explained in the instructions. So again, if it's a pull type, we use this setup, and if it's a push type, we use that setup. Again, there's two plugs that come off of this. You just want to set up the correct one for your style of shifter. Alrighty, now it's story time. So I just took the wire and I ran it up from the shift sensor. I just ran it up, kind of followed the wiring harness. I had the gas tank propped up a little bit, kind of routed the wire under there, under the seat, and back to the power commander. So the sensor is not that difficult to install. Just follow the instructions and set everything up just like they have it laid out for you in the directions, and you shouldn't have a problem installing that shift sensor. And they give you plenty of wire. I just ran it up here underneath the gas tank, kind of followed the harness that goes back to the back of the bike, and then routed it, you know, around the battery and then up into the trunk here where the power commander is located. So shift sensor was easy. My problems all started a couple weeks ago. It's been a bit since I worked on this bike. As a matter of fact, the original reason I got the quick shifter is because I wanted to take it drag racing with the quick shifter to see if I could beat Carl, and I actually am back from the drag strip. So I had my quick shifter on when I was there. It just wasn't hooked up and working. Now the reason why it wasn't working is because, and you guys are gonna like this one, I didn't have the ability to turn the quick shifter on in the Power Commander 3, even though my quick shifter and everything was set up for a Power Commander 3. And here is my Power Commander 3. this is now a brick and it doesn't work anymore. So let's make that story come to life for you. So I got everything installed and went to hook this up, and I did everything you're supposed to. I got the cable here, plugged that in, hooked up the battery, the 9-volt battery to the power commander, put this into the computer, and I had everything there. I saw what map was on it, blah, 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 blah. Everything was working just fine. And I went to select, or just to find, I tried to find the quick shifter function, and it was not in the Power Commander 3. Now this unit is from 2006 or 2007, I believe, and it hadn't been updated for a very long time. And I don't think when this came out, I don't even think that they had a quick shifter available back then. That was something that came along down the road. So they did update the firmware for the power commanders, but you had to go in and update it. So I had this plugged in and I did some Google search. They said, you know, just update your firmware and then that will give you the ability to hook up the quick shifter. So I went in, saw that, you know, there was an update for the firmware, clicked it, and nothing. It didn't do anything. It said that it didn't recognize this and it wouldn't upload the firmware. So I was like, well, that's no good. So I did a little bit more research and came across this. This apparently is a programmer for the Power Commander. And I hooked this up and I followed it step by step. So the way I did it is I just plugged this in, put a 9-volt battery on this end here. I went to Walmart, got a brand new, I don't even know what it was, Duracell or the other one with the bunny. Everlast or whatever, Energizer, that's it. So hooked this up to a nice brand new battery and updated through this little box here, and it said everything was good. And it said take the USB plug out of this box here, put it in here, and it would update the firmware through the Power Commander itself. And got about halfway through on the little bar, stopped, and this Power Commander hasn't turned on since. So it turned it into a paperweight. And called up Power Commander. They said, yeah, that happens. I did another search around the internet. They said, yeah, that happens. Matter of fact, the guy I bought this off of, surprisingly enough, I got this off of Facebook Marketplace, and the guy said that same thing happened to him, so he tried to retrieve it with this. He had already lost everything and tried to retrieve it with this, and it didn't work. So I just tried to do the firmware update using this, which they said that's how you do it, and they turned it into a brick. So everybody, I'd like to introduce you to my new Power Commander 5. There she is. And that nice plug I got for the Power Commander 3, yeah, that's no longer needed. So all you got to do is just cut that end off and expose the 2 wires. And the Power Commander 5 comes equipped with, you know, a bunch of different ports for different external inputs and outputs. So this does have more functionality. It was a lot quicker, a lot easier to use this. I plugged this into the computer, turned on the quick shifter, set up a few settings on there, and now the quick shifter works flawlessly. But yeah, so the whole purpose of getting this in the first place was that it was going to be cheaper, which it wasn't, because I ended up having to buy a Power Commander 5. Now, DynoJet does offer a discount for, you know, loyal customers. I could have gotten a Power Commander 6, but I've heard bad things about them. I heard that they're starting to try and charge you to unlock it so that you get more tunability out of it. So they're starting to go on a pay per bike basis, I believe. And you know, with the Power Commander 5, they're hard to find because they are trying to just push that 6. So I got the Power Commander 5 for kind of a good deal, so that's why I got that. But everything works flawlessly now that I did it, and I'm sure if I would have had an updated Power Commander 3, I probably wouldn't have had a problem. It would have plugged in and I would have been able to go through the settings and change it. I don't know why it bricked. If you guys know why it bricked, just leave a comment below, let me know. But now that that's installed, the next thing I'm going to be doing is going to the drag strip, guys. I got another, oh, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I already went to the drag strip. I'm just recording this video because I don't know what happened to the other video that I recorded of this on. It got deleted or something, I don't know. But so I'm recording this again. I did go to the drag strip. I do know the results of the before and after with the quick shifter, and I'm gonna say stay tuned, guys, because I was very impressed with the before and after difference with and without the quick shifter. That's all I got to say on that. But we're gonna end this video off here. If you liked the video, as always, give it a thumbs up. Any comments you feel you want to leave below, go for it. Anything you'd like to see in a future video, I'm all ears. If you've made it this far through the video, you might want to consider subscribing. I appreciate every one of you that is out there and has subscribed to the channel. But we'll see you in the next video, guys. I'm getting tired slurring my words, so I'm Matt. This is Motorworks. Have a good one.